Hi, my name is Rodrigo, and today I'm going to talk about Sweden and why should business globalization should be considered the main reason of poverty reduction and increase of wealth in the country. First, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the history. Sweden is a Nordic country located in the north of Europe, where the life expectancy is of 82 years, and it occupies the number 55 at the territorial level, and it is the number 24 in the world GDP, that is the gross domestic product. They contain a population of 9 million of persons, where the quality of life is high. And now, the hypothesis that I am going to develop in this research is that business globalization reduces poverty and increase of wealth in society, but only if they use private companies to carry the task of the public sector. International growth Sweden's economy. Exports account for approximately 50% of the gross profit and domestic products. This says that Sweden is a country that mainly exports wood, furniture, and raw material. Sweden exports mainly to the west of Europe, and more than a half of the products that the country sells abroad are destined to the nation of the rest of Europe. Today, the mechanical industry is the most important in the country, with the sectors such as mobile telephony and automobile. Now the 90s. In the 90s, they have a high contribution on the mobile telephony sector, where Sony Ericsson became one of the world's largest company. In these years, Sony Ericsson was a company that started developing the first mobile phones and was competing against Nokia. Also, in the 90s, the industrial automobile products new brands like Volvo and Scania. Volvo is that produce particular cars, and Scania is the industry that creates cargo cars for the industry. And also we have another development in chemistry and pharmaceutical industry, and Sweden create two very special companies like Astra and Pharmacia. And the last one is IKEA, the great world branch market in regard of the furniture sector. Now I'm going to talk about the vulnerability and the stability of the economy. In the country of Sweden, that have a capital economies with a socialist policy, this made that Sweden grow at 31% per year, which is a very big number for the smallest population that the country have. A key element that shows that the international globalization and open market are the solution for the reduction of poverty in the employment rate in Sweden. The labor force in this country is 5.2 billion people, in which 47.4% are women, which is the highest rate of participation of women in the labor market of all OECD member countries. The employment rate has fallen from 7.7 since 2008. In the other words, the government has implemented social and left strategies in the capitalistic economy, in the way people produce for the wealth of the country, and it is distributed in the form of labor benefits and in farm works, so the people can contribute working and producing wealth as well can is an economy cycle. Some disadvantage of the Sweden economy system could be that the economy is exposed to external crises. This is caused because it have a high dependence on the international trades, and Swedish economy reduced 1% during the international financial crisis, and also decreased during the crisis of the Eurozone. But no matter of this, however, it had been resolved with a solid economic growth. In 2017, the world GDP grew to 3.3% according to the IMF estimated, and it's expected to shows slightly and coming years due to the crisis of Europe caused by the conflict of the Brexit with the United Kingdom. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of the population and how people in Sweden negotiate. Well, this population, well, they like to be honestly, to have punctuality, to know how to listen, to be responsible, and know a loyalty. This behaves you need to have in order to negotiate with Sweden. And then with the pest analysis, we can know that well, Sweden are very individualistic. They like to work on their own. Also, we know that the masculinity is very low, so this says that they don't care about sex. Women and men have the same rights and the same opportunities. Well, Sweden's people avoid at all the uncertain. They don't want to fight about uncertainty or fear about changes. Also, we have the long-term orientation, that is 53, and this talk about that they don't have too much distance from the higher position in the company and the person that are working at the lowest post. Now I'm gonna talk about the conclusion. Well, now for the conclusion, based on my investigation and all the research, I can conclude that if we do not measure the size of the state in the economy of northwest of Europe, it turns out that the degree of economic freedom in Sweden is the highest of the world. Even if we include that the factor, we are among the first position in the international ranking. Therefore, Sweden is not a socialist success, but a liberal one. The economic collapse of the 90s led us to structural reforms in the welfare state. The pension system is adjusted to democratic, so there is no international theft. We can say that Sweden has a sustainability theft.